All right, it's been a little bit. I was supposed to make this TnT training video a little bit ago. I said it's just been really long, hard days. I've been up in the Northeast, it seems like, for the past 2 weeks, so it hasn't been the best weather. And obviously running the Northeast, New York, Jersey, Maryland, all that is crazy in and of itself. Sorry if I'm kind of like looking over here. This fucking dude, I'm making a fucking video, and there's a dude just pulls right beside me, and he's literally like super fucking close, and all he's doing is just fucking glaring at me while I'm making this fucking video. So, but I want to get the video done. I'm not really going to edit too much because I don't have time to fucking edit. So it's just, if this video is a little longer, I'm sorry. It's just going to be on YouTube. Look at it. It's more of a training video. But okay, so I am a TnT trainer. So if you come on Prime's PSC program, you're going to do 30 to 40,000 miles with me as a TnT trainer. That's approximately about 2 months that you're on the truck. The meat and potatoes of all your training is going to happen during this phase, the TnT phase, okay? And unquestionably, this is the hardest part of it, okay? There's a lot to learn, and you have to be in a truck with somebody that you never met before and all that. But so I do recognize that it's difficult, but more so, this is maybe to help some other trainers out there and let you students know what to expect if you get me as your trainer. All right, I do want you to know that training is subjective, okay? Every trainer has their own system, their own style, certain highlights and points that they train in. And I'm not saying any of those trainers are bad. I wish that I was able to talk to a lot more trainers, because there's ideas that they have on training that I never thought of, that I would love to know, that would help. But so my style of training is more of, I look at it more as a college, okay? And I view you, my student, as more of a customer. I don't view you as my employee. You're not my employee. You're none of that. I'm not here to rule over you. This isn't lords and peasants here, okay? So with that said, you trainers out there and students, I firmly believe with 100%, no doubt, we set the tone, okay? As a trainer, I set the tone. When you walk into my truck for the first time, okay, my truck is immaculate. It's insanely clean. It smells great, okay? I have a lot of nice things in here for you as a student, okay? You've got your own cubby. You've got a really nice bed. All of your bedding, everything's washed and laundered, and the floors, everything is just really nice. The outside of the truck is nice. I keep that nice, odor clean. I do my level best to, have and my truck's kind of homey. I've got a lot of stickers, and I like Sasquatch, and I'm a sports guy, so I've got a lot of my sports memorabilia stickers up here and things like that, so, and I've got things I've made. Before this, I was a custom home builder and framer for 30 years, so and I woodwork, so there's some things in here I've built that probably you're never going to see in somebody else's truck, but they're nice, for you as a student. So with that said, I set the tone, okay? And when you get into my truck, I'm not gonna fucking, first thing you do when you open up the fucking door, I'm just gonna start fucking laying down the law, and I'm gonna give you the fucking rules, and you're gonna do this, and you're gonna do that, and yada, 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 yada. I think that shit's archaic. It doesn't fucking work. It's a bad approach. As a student, it sets the tone really badly for you. You already are going to come into the training program defensively, and it's instantly going to stress you out, okay? I don't do that, okay? I come in and it's really laid back. I never make my students drive right when they get in the truck. Never do that. I want you to get in the truck. I want you to sit in the passenger seat. I just want you to, kind of chill out, make yourself at home, get your stuff situated in the cubbies. It gives us a time to talk a little bit, get to know each other. You get to see how I run. I can teach you a little bit how I like, how I drive and negotiate things and stuff like that. So I usually knock down 200 or 300 miles while you sit in the passenger seat. Also, I'll give you about 7 or 8 apps that you need to download, okay, when you get into the truck, that you're gonna need, okay? Also, I have you download Trucker Path. I use Trucker Path exclusively, coupled with Garmin. All right, but Trucker Path, I'll pay for the Diamond package for you, which is $30 a month. So while you're on my truck, I will pay you $30 for Trucker Path. So you don't have to worry about that, because I want you to run that app. Our trip planning goes everything off Trucker Path. Once you start using it, you'll never go back. But so I get you on the truck, and we just chat it up, have a nice conversation. I want you to relax. I don't want you to be stressed out, okay? So if I view you more as a customer, I want to put out a good product, okay? I want you to be a safe. I want you to be a courteous. I want you to be knowledgeable. I want you to know how to do mountains. I want you to know how to do snow, ice, fog, wind, rain, negotiate big cities, all that kind of stuff. All right, so like safety is number one to me, okay? I'm extremely patient. I'm a courteous person. I'm kind-hearted. I'm not selfish. I really try to look out for my students. I want to make sure that I make you a really good student. With that said, I will admit right now, I make far less money as a trainer than the student farmers do, okay? I call them student farmers because they're trainers that when you get in the truck, they instantly blast you with the rules. You get in the truck, they want you to knock down 550 miles, 600 miles a day, and then wake them up when you have to back in or do paperwork or this or that, okay? All you're there for is to drive in a straight line for 560 miles and don't get off except rest area, you know, like that's all they do. There's no uncoupling, there's no scaling loads, there's no shipper receivers, there's no ELD work, there's no clock management, there's no GPS work, there's no negotiating cities, there's no backing up. So if you happen to get into one of those trucks where it's just a student farmer, they're going to make a ton of money because they're just going to mile you out. You know what I mean? They're just going to burn your miles down, and then they're going to get up and do all the hard shit, you know, so that they don't get in an accident or this or that. But you really don't learn anything. I don't do that. Okay. I have a conscience, I guess. I really want to make you a good student. I really want you to know everything there is to know that I possibly can get in 2 months. Also, to a caveat to this, if you're a lease operator, okay, there's a lot more work if you want to become a lease operator. That's what I am. I think it's my responsibility to teach you how to make money as a lease operator, okay? Now, with that said, I do want to let all you company drivers know that if you're a company driver and you are interested in me being your trainer, I might not be a good fit for you because I'm not a company driver, and there are a lot of idiosyncrasies and things about being a company driver that I don't know. I don't know how the company side of it works. Yeah, granted, I can teach you how to drive and back and all that, but there are still things that are, you know, special to just being a company driver. So I prefer to train potential lease operators. So if you become a lease operator, you want to do that, I'm going to make sure that I teach you how to make money. Now, right now, I want you to tune out all the fucking noise, okay? Get on Prime Uncensored, Prime Inc. Uncensored, and all these Facebook pages, and you're going to listen to all these fucking people tell you that, you know, we're full of shit, we can't make money, you know what I mean? It's a fucking scam, blah, 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 blah. Tune out all that fucking noise, okay? Because when you get on the truck with me, I'm going to show you how to make fucking money. You can make money as a fucking lease operator if you do it the right way and you're successful and you focus, you do your paperwork accordingly, you look at your loads, you know, you evaluate things, and you move your money the right way. You can be plenty successful as a lease operator. I work about 9.5 months out of the year. Okay, just as an example, when I run solo, I make about 70 to 80,000 a year solo with no students. I can obviously make more as a trainer, but I only run about 9 months and 2 weeks out of the year. That's it. The other time is my home time. Okay, so for 9.5 months or so, I make in the wage 70 to 80 solo, a little bit more as a trainer. So if you want to make more than that and you don't think that's good money and it's not good enough for you or whatever, hey, fuck it, c'est la vie, man. You know, you do you. Fuck it, go somewhere else. I don't, you know, nobody gives a fiddler's fuck. That's fine for me, you know, in this 70 to 80 mark, 90 mark, and I only work 9 months out of the year. Okay, that's okay for me, and it's okay for my lifestyle. All right, I'm happy with that, and I'm content with that. Okay, so I can teach you how to do that if that's kind of the route you want to do, if you want to be a lease operator. Okay, so when you get in, I have a whole system of where I work on really tight backing, tight 90s, 45s, obviously straight backs, how to set all that stuff up. I help you with that. I help you learn how to always watch your tandems, negotiate turns. I'm going to get you in the East Coast. You know, we're going to get up in the mountains. You know, I request my fleet manager to send us up there because I want to train you up there so that you're never nervous, and you're becoming very well-rounded. Okay, so then I teach you how to scale. You know, there's 3 ways of scaling. I can teach you all those ways. I do a really good pre-trip, post-trip. My students, you're going to do a pre-trip and a post-trip, and I'm going to do the same thing for you. Okay, so there's a whole lot more that goes into the training. But as a trainer, I'm going to be training you depending also how you are as male or female. Okay, I do train males and females. Males, I can train a male differently. I have to train a male differently than I train a female. Okay, and I'm not bashing on women and I'm not bashing on men. I'm just giving straight up truthful examples. Okay, with men, I can be a little bit more pointed. I can be a little bit more direct because that's how men like it. Men want to see the result from A to B. Okay, they don't want any fucking exterior vibrations. Men kind of typically like a straight line, A to B. Okay, and they do the rest of it in their head. Females, on the other hand, require a little bit more soft skills, a little bit more communication. Okay. A lot of females, they kind of like to know a little bit more of the hows and the whys, and a little bit more communication about the process. Okay, that's what I've noticed. All right, so and that's not wrong. I mean, because you're a female and that's what you like, and women tend to learn a little differently like that. I will tailor my teaching style based on even that, whether you're a male or female. Also, there's like 3 or 4 different ways that people learn. You can learn kinetically, you can learn visually, you know, you can learn from auditory, you know, you can learn from hands-on. There's different ways in which people learn. Most people have 2 of those, but they're dominant in one. And I try to figure that out. I try to figure out what's your best way of learning. You may be a hands-on person, okay? You really need to just do it yourself, okay? Showing how to do it, kind of when you struggle, kind of help you, you know, move through it. Some people like a little bit more explanation. They need a little bit more of the explaining to. Some people need it written down. Some people like to hear it. So I have to figure out as a trainer, what's your learning style? And then I will tailor that to you as a student. And I think that's my job, okay? As a trainer, you should know how to train. You should know people. You should know how to read people and understand them. Now, as a student, there's going to be a lot of things that you're going to pick up that are going to be really easy for you. I've had students that pick up the computer work really, really well. They pick up the paperwork really, really well. And the apps and all that don't make them nervous. They're very tech savvy, but they've struggled backing. I've had students that struggled with the paperwork and the ELDs and clock management and GPS, but they could back like motherfuckers, okay? I've had students that were kind of jack of all trades, you know, could do it fairly well. I've had students that could run their fucking ass off. I mean, I've had a student, man, that he was knocking down 650s, 670s a day. He took pride in the fact that he would shut his fucking truck down, turn it over to me with 1 minute left on its fucking clock. You know, dude could just fucking run, you know? But, I mean, he struggled in certain areas, but there was other areas that he was really strong at. So once we find out where you're really strong at, I'm going to push the brake on that training a little bit, right? I don't need to fucking press, you know, I don't need to fucking hammer that home to you if you're really strong in that. If you got a couple of questions, little hurdles, I'll help you through that. But we'll focus on the areas that, you know, you may struggle with. It may be backing, it may be big cities. You may be getting nervous going through big cities and traffic and all that kind of shit. You may not like fog. You may not like wind or mountains, you know, all those things. You could be afraid of heights. I mean, there's lots of things that, you know, dependent on you. Okay, so given that I'm a very courteous, I'm very patient, I'm never going to disrespect you, I'm not going to yell, I'm not going to scream, I'm not going to cuss you out, I'm not going to do anything like that. I want to make it as stress-free as I possibly can for you, because it's already stressful out here for you. You're getting on a truck with somebody you've never fucking met. We could be culturally different. Our religious views could be different. Where we're from, maybe even different countries, our upbringing, everything is completely different. And we have to bring that together and kind of mold that while we're in a small space together for 2 months, okay? That's a challenge. So I understand that. I understand that you're going to be going through a lot, okay? This is gonna be stressful for you. It's gonna be hard for you. Not only my trainer, but sometimes I'm your therapist. You know, you need to vent to me. You need to talk to me. You're missing home. You're missing your family. You're missing your kids. That's a lot to ask of you. And I appreciate that. And I understand that that's a lot to ask for you. Okay. You're going through a lot, and I don't think a trainer should put unneeded stress on you that, you know, I guess lack of better word, it isn't needed. Okay. But a lot of trainers, because they were, well, that isn't how I was trained, and fuck if you can't take it, and fucking whatever, and I'm fucking old school, and fuck if you don't like it, and fucking da 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 da. Okay, they train based off how they were trained, but that doesn't mean that that's fucking successful. That doesn't mean that that produces a good product, in my opinion. Okay, I've kind of been training people my whole life, and I found that isn't the best solution. Okay, I need you to be able to accept information, and I need you to be able to drive this truck calmly, unstressful, relaxed, and I need you to keep a cool head, you know, and I need you to think of safety. You know, I don't want you to be dangerous. I don't want you to be stressed out. So with all that said, that's how I kind of train. Okay, that's the tenor and the tone of my truck. Okay, that's the way I like to have it. All right, now let's get to my side of the fence, where I guess you could say my guidelines. I don't really like to call them rules. My guidelines. My truck doesn't go faster than 55 miles an hour unless I say so. Okay, and that's dependent on the load. Okay, sometimes we have to run loads, and we have to do 65 to get the load there. Most of the time, that isn't the way it is. I drive 55, you're gonna drive 55. It is a cost savings thing. It's a fuel thing for me. It's money for me, okay? It has nothing to do with pride, has nothing to do with I'm a pussy, doesn't have to do with I'm fucking new, any of that bullshit, okay? I get cussed out a lot on the CV, I get called every name in the book, I get fucking honked at, blared at, blah, blah, I get it. I don't give a shit. I take home a lot more money annually a year because I drive 55. And when you're in the truck, I'll explain that to you mathematically, and it'll make sense. But I will make a video about this, about the fuel saving thing later. But this truck goes 55. All right. Also, I need a student that is courteous, okay? I look for students that are courteous. I look for students that are grateful, okay? Being grateful as a person is an insanely good quality, okay? If you give me a courteous and grateful person, I will produce an excellent student, okay? If the student has those traits, okay? I look for that, okay? Also, safety is number one, okay? If you listen to me, you're gonna be safe, okay? We have to trust each other with our lives, all right? And as a trainer, I get very, very little sleep. I sleep scared, I sleep stressed out. Every time the truck moves a different way or goes around a turn a little too fast, I can feel that in the back of my bunk. I know when you're taking a turn too fast. That scares me. I'm afraid of rollovers. I was almost in a rollover. I've had a student almost kill me 2 or 3 times. And I'm not saying that as lightly. I'm not embellishing when I say the student almost killed me 2 or 3 times and almost killed some other people. When that happens to you as a trainer, your whole viewpoint changes, completely changes, okay? So with that said, I need to know that you're safe. You're 100% gonna follow my instructions, okay? Also, I have a few markers that I look for in students. I'm not gonna really say that because I don't want somebody to fucking alter how they talk to me, but there are things that I key in on when I'm talking to a student before they get on my truck that I look for, okay? There's markers. There's behaviors, and there are things that certain students do or say or react that are indicators that they're not going to be a good fit for me. And if that's the case, doesn't mean you're a bad person, doesn't mean I'm a bad person. I will just decline and I will go forward in trying to find another student, okay? But I do my homework and I do my research because I have to put my life in a student's hands, and that's no joke. So I'm very selective on my students, okay? 2, this truck is an extension of my home. I live in this truck 9.5 months out of the year. So this is my home, more so. My house is my vacation getaway. This is actually my home. So I don't want you coming in and disrespecting my home. I don't want you throwing trash on the fucking ground, you know? I don't want to have to clean up after you. If you make a mess in the microwave or you dirty a dish, you know, it's common sense, clean it up. You know, by the way, we do laundry once a week, okay? And I pay for all that. I've got all the laundry soap, I've got all the dryer sheets. We do laundry once a week. Shower, minimum every other day, okay? So I'm not one of those trainers either, okay? You have full access to my refrigerator. You have your own cubby, okay? So you have your own stuff. You got a good sized cubby and 2 top shelves that are all yours. So I try to provide a lot more room. And I have all my appliances, you know, from coffee pots to woks to air fryers to convection oven, baking, you know, air, you know, microwave, all that stuff. And obviously I have a nice fridge. So I make room for you so that you can try to save as much money out here too. And you're more than welcome to use every single appliance I have in here. That's what it's for, okay? You're here to save money as well as learning. I don't want you having to spend a lot of money if you're out here. So the other things that I won't take is, if there's a student that's been recycled off another trainer's truck, whether it's your fault or whether it's a trainer's fault, okay? I don't know the reasons and I don't really care, all right? I won't take a recycled student, okay? Recycled students that I've dealt with or come into contact with are headaches, okay? No, sorry, most of them, not all of them, but most of them are fucking headaches, okay? The first thing they get on the truck, I try to teach them something or they try to do something, and the first thing out of their mouth is, well, my last trainer didn't do this, or my last trainer did this, and my last trainer did that, and my last trainer showed me this way, and my last trainer did it this way. And well, if your fucking last trainer was so fucking star-spangled awesome, why in the fuck aren't you still with them? Why in the fuck are you in my truck then? You know, why don't we just drop you back off Springfield or Utah and you can go back with that other fucking trainer? I don't need that headache. I don't need to always kind of be fucking fighting your last experience with your last trainer. Too much of a fucking headache. I don't need it. I don't need the fucking drama. I don't need the bullshit. Okay, so that's why I don't do recycled students. All right, that's just me. My fleet manager won't even offer you to me. So if you're recycled, you probably will never even get me, okay? Or even get an opportunity. The other ones I won't take is experienced drivers. Yes, I put that in quote, experienced drivers. There's drivers who've been driving OTR 5 years in a row, right? And then they go become a day cab driver for 2 years. So they're out of the OTR side for a couple of years. Well, Prime's gonna require them to do maybe 15,000 miles back in OTR, all right? That's just fucking Prime's rules. It's the way they do it. So if you're an experienced driver and you don't wanna have to do 15,000 miles with a TnT trainer or whatever, don't come to Prime because they're gonna make you fucking do it. Now, the reason why I won't take experienced drivers is because they're the biggest fucking headache. They're the fucking worst of the worst, okay? Because they've already got experience. They already fucking know everything. They already think you're fucking cheating them. They already think you're taking advantage of them. They already fucking know how to do everything. They're never gonna fucking see anything your way. You know, they're always fucking pissed off. They can't believe they're doing this. Prime sucks. Can't believe I'm in a truck with a trainer for 15,000 miles. They drive maybe like a fucking radical, you know, crazy person, and that may not blend with my style of driving that I want in my truck. They may not want to do 55. I'm a fucking idiot for driving 55, or I do the Smith system and I'm a moron. They're the fucking biggest. They're the fucking worst headaches in the world. So I will never and I'm not taking away from their driving skill. They could be plenty fucking good. They could be excellent drivers. They could be great OTR guys. They could do all that, or girls, whatever. I don't want to fuck with them. I don't want to deal with that fucking bullshit. I already have too much shit on my plate out here to have to fucking mollycoddle their fucking sensitive shit, all right? And most trainers will agree with me on this. To take one of those people on is a fucking nightmare. Okay, so those are two things I won't do. All right, so if you're recycled, you're not going to get Trucker Dad here. That's my company name, is Trucker Dad. And if you're an experienced driver that needs only 15,000 miles or something like that, hey, best of luck to you. I hope you find a good trainer that you get along with, but I'm not going to be your trainer. Okay, and I want to give you those are the reasons why. I want fresh students that are a sponge. Okay, they're willing to learn the way I'm going to teach it, and I'll be patient and kind and courteous bringing you there. But if you get me as a trainer, I'm going to get you where you need to be. Okay, we will get through it together. If you're struggling, I'll be there for you. We'll take time. If it's backing, we'll take, if we need a whole day out on the pad to just back all day. I had a student that we spent 8-9 hours out at the pad in Springfield. All we did was back for 8-9 hours. And that just did wonders. She was just a backing machine. This girl could fucking back. I mean, I bet she's probably been out her own now, out of my truck for probably 6-7 months now. I'll bet you the girl could back better than I can. The girl was fucking ridiculously good backing. Okay, but we really took a lot of time on that end, and it helped her. Well, sorry the video is a little longer than normal. I just kind of wanted to express to you how I train as a TnT trainer. Okay, so I cover a lot in there. I teach basically everything. I teach you how to winterize your truck, slide your tandems, scale loads, deal with shipper receivers, do all the paperwork, do all the EODs, clock management, GPS work, even a paper map, Rand McNally map. Know how to bleed your airlines, winter driving, prepping your truck for winter driving, driving in big cities, driving in mountains, driving in snow, sleet, fog, rain, you name it. I want to make sure that I produce a really good product as a student. Also, with that said, I want you to get off my truck and I want you to tell my fleet manager, hey, Rob was a fucking great trainer. Rob's a great guy. I really liked his teaching style. You got yourself a good one there. I want you to give me high marks, saying that, giving me pats on the back that I did a good job for you. That's where I get my satisfaction, is knowing that my students got off my truck and they're happy with what I've given them, because you are sacrificing a lot to be on my truck. You are sacrificing a lot from your family. You need a trainer that is patient and kind, okay, and understanding. I caution you that if you are a student and you get onto a trainer's truck and it's absolutely fucking filthy, it smells like refried fucking ass. You know what I mean? It's gross, it's disgusting, nothing's wiped down, fucking dirt, dust, grime everywhere. They don't have a refrigerator, they don't have a microwave, they don't have anything for you. All it is get in the fucking truck and drive 550. They don't talk to you, they don't really care about training. I suggest that before you even get kicked off on the road, reconsider that, okay? Because there are trainers out there that are like me. They're trying to produce a good product. They're trying to be a good trainer for you. So be cautious with that. I'll give you a little piece of advice there, because when you get onto my truck, this is the last thing I want to say. When I told you that the trainer sets the tone earlier on in the video, I think that's extremely important. I had a student, I had a really, really, really bad day. The load was bad. I was going on very little sleep. The weather, there was things happening in my home that were very stressful. I had a lot going on. And the student wanted to get on the truck with me on Tuesday, and I was in Springfield, and I wasn't in a good headspace. I just wasn't. I wasn't there. I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't in a good mood. So I told the student, no, let's hook up tomorrow. Let's hook up Wednesday. I got things I got to do. So I took a fucking day off. All right. I went over to Fire and Ice. I got my pasta seafood ravioli dish that I absolutely love. I got about 3 espresso martinis that I absolutely love. I took some fucking time to chill out and relax and sleep in, get some rest, because when that student got on the truck, I wanted to make sure that it was a calm, peaceful, fun, exciting environment. I wanted that student to get on and see a trainer that had dressed nice, I wear my Prime stuff. I'm not right now, but I've got my Prime hat. I've got nice Prime clothes, you know, because I'm Prime's representative. I'm going to be the first face that you see coming onto Prime. I could make it or break it for you, whether you like Prime, whether you're successful at Prime, or whether you're a failure at Prime, whether you enjoy your experience or not. I'm the face of Prime. So I want to be professional. I want to greet you with a good attitude, with a positive attitude, with a kind spirit, you know, happy, you know, looking forward to seeing you, looking forward to getting to know you, you know, letting you, you know, get used to the truck and everything else, and make your experience welcoming onto this truck and calm and relaxed. So that's how important I think it is for a trainer to set the tone. I will take a whole day off if I'm not in a good headspace, because I don't want your experience to get on my truck with me having a bad fucking attitude, you know, and I'm being a prima donna because I fucking was stressed out and this and that, and then I give a negative vibe right when you walk in my door. I don't want to do that. If I have to take a day off, I'll take a day off, but I'm going to greet you with a really positive experience and nice and calm and relaxed. The other thing I don't do is, if we listen to music, I've got an excellent truck. My truck is brand new. It's a 2025. I've got about $5,000 in extras. I've got all digital dash defobs. I've got heated seat. I've got upgraded seats. I've got extra insulation, you know, so that the reefer's quieter, things like that. I don't listen to the music on my truck on the open stereo. I listen to all my music on a headset. Okay? When I talk to my family, I talk to my friends, I talk in a normal tone of voice. Okay? I don't yell, I don't scream, I'm not loud, I'm not obnoxious, I'm not playing my music so fucking loud that I'm waking you up and you're hearing every fucking discussion that I'm having with my friends or my family. That's insanely uncourteous. And my sleep is super important to me as a trainer because I get very little of it. And the little that I do get, I don't want somebody who's uncourteous waking me up because they're so loud, they're so obnoxious, they're playing their music on the truck ridiculously loud. I have everything in my headset, okay? And I expect my students to do the same thing, okay? If you can't do that, we're not gonna be a good fit, okay? So I shouldn't be your trainer. You may want a trainer that's maybe a little younger, that doesn't mind listening to music loud or whatever, and that's perfectly fine with you. I don't like it. Well, with that said, if I'm going to try to be that good of a trainer for you, I equally want as good of a student, all right? I want a grateful student. I want a courteous student. Of course, I want a kind student. I don't want a student that is emotionally unintelligent. I don't want a student that's reactive, okay, that is combative, argumentative. If somebody is not coachable, you're unable to be instructed, and you take everything personal, or you take it as a slight to you, and somebody's disrespecting you because I have to tell you, hey, make sure you do it this way when you're coupling and uncoupling and this and this and this, and you get pissed off and you give me attitude and all that. I don't want students like that, okay? You're a headache. I don't want to deal with you. Most of the time I find that out before because I do all my research before I even get you on the student. With that said, I will only take 2 to maybe 3 TnT students a year. That's it. I fucking 2 or 3, you know, and obviously PSD is different, but I screen out my students really, really well. So if you're the type of student that you think you're going to mesh with me, then come on to Prime. I will teach you how to be financially successful. I will teach you how to be a lease operator. Don't be scared about being a lease operator either, okay? Even though you may not have a lot of experience in the trucking industry, if you get me as your trainer, I will teach you how to be successful and to make money. And once you become a lease operator, you'll never go company again. But if you feel like you're a good fit for me, well, use my driver code and we can try to hook up. We're able to communicate, send emails. You can get a hold of my fleet manager, let him know that you're interested in me being a TnT. You can tell my fleet manager that you saw my YouTube video and just say, hey, I saw Rob, you know, Trucker Dad, his driver code is FARRRA. I really liked his video. I really liked what he said his teaching style is. I really want him as a trainer. You know, him and I just really would mesh with that guy. You know, even if you're female, you know, just, that's all you got to do. Just use my driver code. And obviously use my driver code, you're going to get ahead of the pile, right? Because you're already showing me that you're thinking of me. And, you know, because a lot of times for a whole month, I don't even make any money with a student. So using my driver code, I get a referral from that, which I deserve. You know what I mean? I'm out here recruiting, making videos, trying to be a good trainer. I don't make that much money in the first few weeks, you know? So that helps. So if you're interested, please, I'll put my driver code in the description below, and I think I have it on my YouTube page too, in the comments or the description, but it is FARRRA, okay? So with that said, use my driver code. Get a hold of me. My email is truckerdad24@icloud.com, and I think that I have my descriptions too. So if you have any other questions, get a hold of me via email, and we can actually talk on the phone. Even if you don't want to come to Prime, I don't give a shit. You can call me and I'll just have a conversation with you, and I can get a little bit more in depth and maybe answer a few more questions than what I can on this video. But that's my training TnT style right there. So sorry, the longer video. I hope I answered some of your questions or whatever. Like I said, if you're interested in coming to Prime, Prime's a great company. Okay, I've had a great experience with them. I love Prime, and they're one of the best I've ever worked with. Okay, so I have no issues with them. I think Prime is great, and if you come on with me, you know, I think you're going to have a really good experience too. So use my driver code and get in touch with me if you're thinking about becoming a student. I could be your TnT trainer if we get together. Remember, I only get 2 or 3, so you know, if you come on sooner than later, I won't be taking a student until after February. Right now I'm running solo until February because I just got some things going on. So I don't want a student to have to deal with that shit. So when I get a student on, I like to take them from start to finish. So with that said, hope you enjoyed the video, man. If there's other people you need to know about it, hey, share, like, let them know. Like I said, get a hold of me. I'll make sure I put my driver code in the comments. Talk to you later, guys. Over and out.